warriors! In today's video, I want to talk about something that people who have become the victim of narcissistic abuse might experience even after they have left their abuser. And if you suffer from an eating disorder, especially one that involves binge eating, it can really stand in the way of your recovery because when it used to happen to me, I always binged. But luckily, I've found a way to cope with it. So I have started to overcome the urge to binge whenever this happens to me. And I wanted to share this with you guys because I hope this video can help someone out there. So, do you ever find yourself in a situation where everything is going really well? Your relationship is going great. You feel great, you're doing super good in eating disorder recovery. If you have an eating disorder, you're going for your dreams and goals, and you feel like you are doing a really great job. You feel like you actually have a chance to become successful. You're really hopeful. Everything is just going really well, and there's nothing at that time to be worried about or to be concerned about. So you feel great, but suddenly out of nowhere, you feel a bit down and you don't know why, because there's absolutely no reason to feel down. So you've even thought about what might be going on in your mind subconsciously, but you can only conclude that even if you're 100% honest with yourself, you can only conclude that there's no reason whatsoever to feel down or depressed or whatever. There is just no reason. Everything is going awesome. And you suddenly feel a sort of unease, and it's kind of creepy, and you just can't help but feel this feeling of pending doom. And when you think about it, you know that there's nothing going on, you know that it's a false feeling, but you can't really shake it off because it's not in your mind, it's in your guts. And I want to emphasize here that it doesn't feel like a real anxiety attack. It's rather just a fraction of an anxious feeling. I didn't know what it was before, but now that I've learned more about narcissistic abuse and the consequences of it, I finally know what it is and how to overcome it. Whenever I experienced this feeling, I used to always binge. But recently, I experienced it again and I didn't binge because I was aware of what was going on. And I had been aware of all my thoughts and emotions so much these past few weeks that I knew for sure that there wasn't anything I could possibly be subconsciously unhappy about. So I knew for sure that there wasn't anything going on subconsciously that could trigger this feeling. I knew for sure that I was a-okay and that there was no reason whatsoever to feel this way. So let me tell you about what I've learned. And I'm not saying that if this happens to you sometimes that this is necessarily what is happening to you, because not everyone has become the victim of narcissistic abuse, luckily. And people can experience things for so many reasons. So I'm not saying that this is necessarily the explanation for everything. It's just, in my case, it's what happens to me. And I know that it happens to a lot of people who have been the victim of narcissistic abuse. So for me, all of this really hits home, and it explains every single binge I have ever had when things were actually going really great in my life. And I call this the light bulb theory. So if you have been living with a narcissist, then you know that narcissists are attracted to shiny objects. Narcissists are attracted to people who are really empathic and kind, and most of us also have a really bubbly and happy, joyful personality, and are kind of contagious in a good way. We just shine. But the narcissist can't handle this because he or she doesn't experience this kind of sincere inner happiness. The narcissist is empty inside and doesn't have a sense of self. So the way a narcissist keeps himself together is by creating a complete false image of himself, aka a facade. But it's not real. A narcissist doesn't feel real joy or real inner happiness. They can only fake it, and they just can't stand it when their target or their supply is actually feeling true inner happiness. They can only fake it, and they can't stand it when their target or supply is actually experiencing real inner happiness or inner joy. It throws them off balance and it makes them emotionally unstable. So what they do is, every time you get a little too happy, they try to destroy your happiness by tearing you down. So when you were living with the narcissist, whenever you were too happy or joyful or successful, you were in trouble. The narcissist would either tear you down or explode into narcissistic rage for no reason whatsoever, and you would just be in huge trouble. The narcissist would just try to tear you down or explode into narcissistic rage for no reason. Your narcissist may have beaten the crap out of you every time he got frustrated because you got too successful or happy or joyful or whatever. And this happened time after time again. So imagine you have a little light bulb hanging over your head and it's shining really bright. But the narcissist is painting it black time after time again, so it doesn't shine so bright anymore. Well, after years and years of this abuse, your brain gets so conditioned to it that you start to paint it black yourself. Because your brain has been conditioned to learn that if you are successful or happy, you're in danger. Bad things are going to happen. So even when you've left the narcissist, you still continue to do this. And that's why whenever you are doing really well in life, or in eating disorder recovery, or in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, that's the reason why you might suddenly feel down or depressed or a bit anxious, or just like there's this dark cloud of pending doom hanging over your head. It's because your brain still makes the connection, oh, successful, happy, joyful means trouble. And this might cause you to self-sabotage because you don't want to be in danger anymore. Your brain is trying to keep you safe. So before I knew this, I would always binge whenever this feeling hit me. But recently, I've managed to give it a place and deal with it in a healthy way. It hit me when my boyfriend was at work in the evening and I was home alone. And I really took my time to evaluate it and deal with it and think about it. And if you know where it comes from, it's way easier to deal with it. So I took my time to tell myself that I am safe now. I took my time to tell myself that it's normal that I feel this way because my brain still associates success with danger. And I took my time to tell myself that I'm not a kid anymore and that my abuser isn't here anymore. I told myself that I am safe now and that even if something bad were to happen, I'm not a kid anymore, so I'm not powerless anymore. First of all, I can defend myself, and second of all, even if something were to happen, I could always call the police because I'm an adult now. When I was a kid and someone would beat the crap out of me and told me I deserved it, I would believe it because what did I know? I was a kid. But now I'm an adult and I know what my rights are. I know what is right and what is wrong, and I know when I have the right to defend myself. So I took the time to tell myself that it's really normal that I feel this way, but that I can just sit with the feeling and that it will go away because that I have no reason to feel this way. I told myself that I don't need to binge to calm myself down. I just talked myself down from the weird feeling that I was having. I took the time to evaluate everything that was going on in my life, and I could only conclude that I was doing an amazing job and that I could be really proud of myself. And god dang it, that I have the right to be proud of myself, and that I am able to shine, that I am allowed to shine, that I even owe it to my family and my friends to shine. You know, they don't want to see me sick. They don't want to see me struggle. They want to see me happy. People who are mentally sane want you to do well in life. They want you to be successful. Only narcissists don't want you to shine. So I really took my time to reassure myself. So yeah, by taking my time to see things in another perspective, not from the perspective of a 10-year-old anymore, I was able to calm myself down. I just told myself that I am allowed to be successful, and no one on this entire planet has the right to beat me, humiliate me, or tear me down. Because that's not right. And I told myself that I will be okay, and that it's okay to feel a bit low or sad right now, because it's just a normal consequence of what happened to me as a child. But I also told myself that I can deal with it and that it will go away, and that I don't have to binge. I can just continue doing what I was doing. I think I was watching TV or just enjoying some YouTube videos. I told myself that I could just continue to do those things, and I didn't have to keep ruminating on what was wrong, because I already evaluated everything. I took my time to evaluate every aspect of my life, and I could only conclude that everything is a-okay right now. So that's how I calmed myself down, and it worked. I didn't binge. And I normally always binge when I get that feeling. So for me, this explanation really hits home. And it's not something that happened consciously. Your abuser didn't tell you, oh, you're too successful, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you now. Of course he didn't say that. It just happened every time you were successful or too happy. And your brain, your gut, your instinct picked up on this. And that's why now you associate success with danger. So try to talk to yourself, be kind to yourself, and just acknowledge that you have the right to be successful. So yeah, just try to calm yourself down by acknowledging what happened in your childhood and dealing with it. Try to see it for what it is. And knowledge is power. So I'm not saying that this is an explanation for everyone. It's just something that really happens sometimes to people who have complex post-traumatic stress syndrome due to narcissistic abuse. And if you can relate to this, then I hope that this video will help you get over it. Because this knowledge really helped me out. And every binge that we can avoid is a battle won. And eventually, we can win the war. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video.